So, it's been nearly 2 weeks since this has been announced, and we know the biggest thing in basketball over the last pretty much 2 weeks has been talking about the Los Angeles Lakers team. Well, it turns out that this team may not have happened, and they were very close to this big three not coming together. They were very close to, I reckon, an entire change in the roster, and a big reason for that specifically was LeBron James, the GM. And again, I don't understand why people have a problem with this. Like, yeah, you probably should listen to your best player when trying to build a team. Like, I don't get it. Like I've heard people complaining about how LeBron has got too much influence over the personnel, where it's like, of course he does. He's LeBron. He's the best player. So he should have influence. Because at the end of the day, he knows who he wants to play with better than most people. But anyway, it turns out that the Lakers were very close to making this trade right here. They were very close to making a trade for Buddy Hield instead of Russell Westbrook. They probably wouldn't have had to give up the first round pick. They probably still wouldn't have kept Caruso, but their lineup would probably have looked like next year. They probably would have ended up keeping. Oh my God, I've drawn a blank. Dennis Schroeder. So they probably would have had Schroeder, Casey, or Buddy Hield. Maybe KCP. Maybe not. Anthony Davis, LeBron James. Like, I don't think that would have been a bad lineup. Or if you want to throw Marc Gasol in there. Like, if you want to throw Marc Gasol in at the 5, AD at the 4, LeBron at the 3, Buddy Hield and Schroeder. Like, that's not a bad lineup. That's really not a bad lineup. But what they have done throughout all of free agency is kind of fill in guys that are going to give a similar output to Buddy. So you guys can see here, it says LeBron James preferred Westbrook trade over Buddy Hield. And in a vacuum, a lot of people, including myself, would say, surely surrounding LeBron James with shooters is better. It fits better. It'll make the team better. But I mean, I think they still did it. They still did surround the team with shooters. They surrounded the team with Wayne Ellington. You got Malik Monk. I mean, Carmelo Anthony's a pretty okay shooter. He's actually getting better at catch and shoot threes. He actually shot quite well for Portland. So yeah, let's put Melo in the good shooter conversation. But I think they did a great job right here. And it is just kind of a crazy one that, like, I've heard people, again, going as far as to say this is one of the biggest mistakes LeBron James has ever made, bringing in Russell Westbrook. That it is it'll be one of his biggest regrets not bringing in Buddy Hield. First of all, like, yes, Buddy Hield's a shooter. Buddy Hield's a better shooter than anyone the Lakers have. He is probably, if you were to make a team based on who you believe would fit together, and your question was, which would you rather, Buddy Hield or Westbrook, with LeBron and AD? I think I'm taking Buddy Hield in one given game. But that's not, like, explaining out the rest of the roster. Would you rather have Buddy Hield or all the shooters that the Lakers did get? Maybe Buddy Hield. But they got Russell Westbrook. And I'm not a fan of the fit, really, of Westbrook when it comes to the three of those guys playing together. But what Westbrook brings is, it means that LeBron doesn't have to carry a load on offense in the regular season. Russell Westbrook, by himself, can drag a team to a 5th, 6th seed. But then when you got LeBron, who also can probably drag his team to a 3rd, 4th seed in the NBA right now, because of the way some of the other teams are, I'm not sure if LeBron could drag a team to a 1 seed anymore, but again, that's irrelevant in basketball right now anyway, especially for an older team. And you've got AD, who, well, he dragged the team to an 8th seed in 2015, but is one of the best big men in the game of basketball. So you got those guys. It means LeBron has to play less minutes. It means also Westbrook has to play less minutes, which is quite big as well. Like, you can stagger LeBron and Westbrook's minutes a lot in the regular season, and it works. And the biggest thing here, I just want to put it out there. Like, everyone can have an opinion on a sport. Everyone can have an opinion on a sport. If you think if you don't like a player, and you have a reason for it, go ahead. It's all opinions. When you start, like, if you don't like a player to the extent of like a Skip Bayless for LeBron, then it's literally just hating a person and making a career out of it. Like, then it's like, it's gone too far. But like, there are certain players that I don't particularly rate highly that other people rate highly. There are other players that I rate super highly that other people don't. That's the whole thing with basketball. Like, I don't claim to be an absolute like genius of the sport. Like, I did play the sport at a reasonably high level. I'm probably the highest level I could have played at without leaving my country. Well, not the highest level, literally the highest level I could have played at without leaving my country. But at the same time, the standard of basketball here is not great. I don't know more about the game of basketball than LeBron James. I don't. And I'm going to trust that LeBron James knows what he's doing. So, could this be a mistake in hindsight? Yes. Could this be the best thing he's ever done in hindsight? Yes. But we can't look at this in hindsight. We all have our opinions straight away, whether something's going to work or not. Sometimes we're always right. Sometimes we're wrong. LeBron James could be right sometimes. He could be wrong sometimes. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here that he knows what he's doing. Because from the outside looking in, as someone who not necessarily like judges everything by analytics, but judges more based on what fits. And analytics a lot of the time can show what fits on a basketball court. However, just judging by numbers doesn't make sense either. I just don't see how this fits. But at the same time, basketball is an ever-changing game, as well as that it's a copycat league. Like, the last two teams that have won championships weren't great three-point shooting teams. Although the Bucks were in regular season, they weren't in the playoffs. The Lakers were a terrible three-point shooting team. The Golden State Warriors, the weird thing was that teams trying to beat the Golden State Warriors by chucking threes, they didn't realize that the Golden State Warriors, they were a great shooting team. They didn't chuck up that many threes. He just had Steph and Clay. But unfortunately, if you break down the Warriors by the numbers, instead of how they played, that's where you basically get a team doing what the Houston Rockets did and just jack up threes. And that nearly worked. If the Houston Rockets had to beat the Golden State Warriors in 2018, I'm one of the NBA championships. I'm telling you, every team in basketball right now will be shooting 40-foot bombs every possession. It's a copycat league. We saw in the Olympics that NBA players, even with like Bam and a smaller power forward, really struggle to guard two big high-low post players. They really struggle to guard it. And I think that'll be the case even in the NBA. I don't know how long it'll be till there's a super successful team with two big men. If they're two good passing big men, and they can also are versatile enough to guard people on the perimeter, I think that could be dangerous in the future. If you get the right two players. It's a copycat league, so anyone saying, oh, you can never win with a certain system. I mean, every time someone said you can't win with certain things, a lot of the time it's been proved wrong. It really has been proved wrong. They said you could never win with a guard before Michael Jordan won. They said you could no longer ever win with your best player being a big in the NBA. I don't care what anyone says. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a big. Giannis Antetokounmpo he's a big man. He is a big man. He dribbles the ball quite a bit, but he's a big man. Nikola Jokic made a Western Conference Finals, lost to the eventual champions. The Denver Nuggets with Nikola Jokic, lost to the eventual champion Lakers in 2020. Does it look like on paper that this team will work out? No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. But then again, did it really look like LeBron and Rondo would have fit in together back in 2020? Not really. And they won a championship. A lot of teams that didn't fit on paper worked incredibly well. Did it really, obviously hindsight 2020, there was always the one ball argument with Kevin Durant. Kyrie Irving and James Harden, there was only one basketball. And the three of them, I mean, whenever they played together, looked great. Then there's the opposite. There was the one ball argument for Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, and Russell Westbrook that failed. So at the end of the day, you can't look at previous examples of certain things being successful or failing. Or you can't open a book and predict whether a team will fail or not. Because at the end of the day, a lot of it is personnel. A lot of it is the personalities of the players meshing as much as anything. And quite a lot of winning a championship is luck. And this team has enough talent that they shouldn't be counted out against anybody. And I think, in my opinion, Buddy Hield maybe gave them a lower floor than Westbrook, because this could be a disaster. There is potential for this Lakers team to be the 2018 Cavs and be a disaster. There really is. But at the same time, there's potential for this 2018 or for this Lakers team right here to win a championship. And I'm not sure with Dennis Schroeder and Buddy Hield, even with LeBron, he's getting old. I'm not sure if they'd have much of a chance against the potential healthy Nets. Whereas I think now, if everything clicks, they might be the best team in the NBA. And I don't think with the Buddy Hield trade that they are the best team in the NBA under any circumstances. However, this is a boom or bust move. And I trust that LeBron knows what he's doing. And if you're the Lakers, there's no point getting to the second round or even getting to a conference finals and losing. So I'm all for it. I'm all for getting as much talent as possible and hoping it works, rather than building a team that's good, but probably not better than the Nets, and arguably not better than like the Nuggets, or if Kawhi comes back, not better than the Clippers. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.